Welcome to the Rich in Success podcast, the podcast that aims to define exactly what success is to you and helps you implement this into your daily life. Hosted by cousins, actor, singer and multiple business owner Matt Hall and ex-rugby player, health, wellbeing and fitness coach Dan Ramsden. Join them on this exciting journey as they unravel the minds of their inspirational guests in a quest of self-discovery. Are you ready to take your life to the next level? If so, this is the podcast for you. Now let today's lesson begin.
Welcome back everyone to the Rich in Success podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited because ever since we had an idea to do a podcast, Ross Grant was the guy I had in mind. He was the man. I thought we've got to get him on. He's got to be interviewed because I just know there's going to be so much value in this podcast. Ross,
it's amazing.
Thank you.
Mate.
Do you like that?
I love it. I love the. Well, I am the reason.
You are the reason. No, you're not the reason.
Thanks. No, just say I'm the reason.
Okay, you're the reason.
I'm the reason.
One of the reasons.
One of the reasons.
Mate, I'm like, and Dan as well. I'm really happy to take part. I interview a lot of people, and I've never really been interviewed. I think I've been interviewed once, to be honest. This is only the second podcast I've ever been on.
Yeah.
As a guest.
I'm a little bit upset. I thought we'd be the first, so you've upset me now.
Can't give you that accolade. But this is the first UK podcast because the other one was based in America.
Oh wow!
So yeah, you've got the first UK exclusive.
We're exclusive.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take that.
So you're already a podcaster, and that's your main line of work.
Pretty much, yeah. So I'm an actor. I'm a voiceover artist as well, and I set up a website back in 2011. Called Act On This, the TV Actors Network. And the idea behind it really was to teach actors the business of the business because I'd just left drama school. To be honest, I graduated from drama school in 2005 actually, so 6 years before that. And I spent, honest to God, probably 4 years getting it completely wrong when I left drama school. They teach you how to act and they teach you all the craft and the skill, of acting, but they don't teach you anything about business. And I've always been so business minded. I was like, I know nothing about like the business of the business, how you can turn this skill and this craft ultimately into a living. We all have mortgages to pay or rent to pay, bills and stuff, and most actors decide that they or settle for the fact that they'll just have to spend all of their time working in bars and restaurants and just like menial minimum wage jobs or whatever. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to put what I've just spent 15 grand of my drama school training, I want to put that to work and actually get paid to do the thing that I love to do. So I got it all wrong for the first 4 years. I started working for a casting director very high up in TV. I learned a shitload of stuff working in the business that I had no clue about before. At drama school they didn't teach you any of that. And I just thought to myself, if I can actually put this online and bring other actors who are successful and directors who are successful and casting directors who are successful to the site and I interview them on podcasts, other actors can benefit from that. They can listen to it on the way to auditions, in the dinner hour at those jobs, that I mentioned, that they kind of, feel they have to do in order to survive. We can talk about that in a bit because I don't think that has to be the case. So I just started putting these podcasts together, in 2011, and then since then I do like a personal development podcast called the Act On This TV audio experience that's out on iTunes and stuff. I do premium podcasts that actors can pay for on actsonthis.tv. I'm plugging my stuff already. I shouldn't be doing this. So I've been doing it, but 8 years basically. Right. But in that time, I've interviewed mega people, Oscar winners, BAFTA winners, Emmy winners. I've never been interviewed though. So
honestly, it's absolutely amazing, and that is how I came, obviously, to know of you. And it's quite unique. I don't think anyone else is really doing it, or are they? It's kind of.
There's a couple of people.
I've seen. You know about them.
You check. You see. Do you know what I've noticed actually? Because I've been doing it since 2011. You see over 8 years how many people begin, and then they don't have it in them to carry on and finish. Because I mentioned this before we started rolling. In terms of when you started a podcast out, so many people just get so consumed by the vanity of numbers and how many downloads they're getting, and they feel that if they don't go from 0 to 100,000 in 6 months, then they've lost, and then they give in, and it's because they're just looking at it all wrong. If you get into a podcast for that reason, then you might as well not bother. Like, you will lose if you go into it purely for numbers, and significance through downloads, which is just useless, as opposed to the impact you can make on, a couple of people watch this or listen to this, and then you change their life with this information, then that's got to be worth more than 1 million downloads. Otherwise, you're in it for all the wrong reasons. But that's why most people fail so quickly.
Yeah.
This is what I love. And you've also got Bulletproof Actor, which, just tell us about that. That's like the mindset rather than the acting, isn't it? Or it's kind of like how that can help your acting.
I just believe that everything begins with mindset. I feel I know that's what it begins with from my own life. So
it's like an online course, isn't it, that people...
It's an online program. I got into positive psychology, like heavily into positive psychology 10 years ago. A little bit more actually than that. It was about, it's quite a bit more than that now. It's like 2006. I had a really rough year in 2006, so I was doing all right in my acting career, not particularly well. I was kind of banging my head against a brick wall in many respects, but getting the odd job kind of here and there. And in 2006, I lost my dad. He died of a heart attack really, really quickly overnight. I've got this eye condition that runs in my family called retinitis pigmentosa, which is a degenerative eye condition, which basically sounds really like dramatic, but robs you of your vision over your life. So my mum's 60, she's 67 now actually. She lost her vision more or less completely at 60. So I found out I had that. Well, I kind of found out a few years before that I had that. I lost my dad, but my mum, couldn't really, do a lot for herself in terms of, for work and things like that. I was like, shit, like, if I carry on doing what I'm doing at the moment, which is working for minimum wage in a shop, the last words my dad ever said to me, will you look after your mum? And I thought, how am I going to do that working for minimum wage in a shop? I really want to be utilising my acting, and really going after the thing that I kind of, really want to do in life. And I got really heavily into positive psychology. And to cut a long story short, 6 months after that, after losing my dad, I just really started focusing all on building the best version of myself, really going after what I want, and it worked in terms of, I can tell you the whole story of how it initially began if you want. I don't know what right. So basically, this is about a Saturday morning. I remember it so clearly. It's a Saturday morning, going to work, hungover as hell. Right, every week I would go out drinking. I was running away from my life really. Working in the shop.
Standard carry on.
Standard, honestly. I look back and I just don't even recognise myself, honestly. And I went into the computer game shop that I worked in, and walked into the staff room. There's a guy pulling on a Nintendo t-shirt, and he was coming to demo a Nintendo DS console. So if you remember the Nintendo DS's, right? So he would be the guy, the good-looking guy, who would stand on the shop floor and he'd demo this Nintendo DS, and customers would have a go on it, and ideally they would buy one. Mm-hmm. And he's pulling on this top, and I'm like, fuck, this guy's like ripped. And I'm like, right, like what's that you're eating? He's like, it's a protein muffin. I'm like, what's a protein muffin? Here's me, hungover as hell with a cheese sandwich hanging out my mouth, running away from my life, not having any kind of success really in anything I'm doing. And he's like, oh, it's a protein muffin. And I was like, right, okay, have you always been in that shape? And he's like, no, here's a picture of me when I was 16. It's fat little shit. I was like, oh my God, like, okay. Like, I want whatever you're having. Like, what is this? Can you help me out? So on my dinner hour, I started talking to him. And to cut a long story short, he was savvy, man. He sold me a workout plan for 450 quid, right? Wow, okay. Back then, I was like, that's like, to be honest, like practically my entire month's wages back then.
Okay.
But I was like, you know what? I've got to have skin in the game. If I invest in it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to do it. He gave me this 6-week plan. Changed my life. Like seriously, it was never the same again. He gave me this plan to do. I went in the gym with my little blue folder. All the other lads I went to school with were in there. They were all pretty in pretty good shape, taking the piss out of me. Oh, here he is with his blue folder. I would go in.
It's like a perfect film setting, isn't it? There he comes.
Do you know if I saw somebody doing that though, I'd be like, I'm watching this one. This one's gonna do it.
Well, that was it, man.
Not making all the noise, just walking in with the little notebooks, doing
the
thing.
Underdog.
I like
the classics.
I still today love being the underdog.
Yeah.
I fucking love people underestimating me.
Yeah,
it's like a superpower.
It kind of fires you up more, doesn't it?
Well,
I guess
I'll just go quiet and go, okay, people underestimate me today. I'm like, all right, I can see you in 2021 then. Let's see what you're doing. Let's see what I'm doing.
It's the long game.
I love it. So anyway, I'm in the gym with my folder, gives me this 6-week plan, and he told me, he said on every Friday, he said take a picture of yourself from the front, from the side and from the back. And I was like, it's a bit weird, but I'll do it anyway. So I was upstairs in my mum's house, like trying to set my MacBook to take these pictures. You know, you get it, the countdown, 3, 2, 1, and I'm trying to kind of like, honestly, mate, it was bad. But after that 6
We've all done
weeks,
it.
Yeah, I still do it.
after that 6 weeks, I looked at my week 1 photo and my week 6 photo and was like, holy shit. This has worked.
Yeah.
Like there was really noticeable gains. I think the gains kind of plateaued a bit after that in terms of they weren't as rapid. But changing my body composition over that 6 weeks really worked. And it worked because Mark, shout out to Mark, he gave me this plan with super actionable steps, broke my goals down into what I needed to do each week. I would go in the gym, I would do them. You know, I would then increase the weight a little bit the week after, increase the weight a little bit after that, you know, just keep upping my game. And I got these results and I was like, you know what, if I can apply this kind of goal setting, you know, tactics within my life, never mind just my acting career, within my life in general, my physicality, you know, my relationships, my spirituality, emotional mastery, my career, you know, just whatever. I might not be able to see it on a photograph, but you know what? I've got a pretty good idea that it's going to work. So that's what I started doing. I got into real heavy science-backed, high-performance positive psychology. Not airy-fairy bullshit. Oh, it's the secret. I just wish for a Ferrari, go and have a pasty, and you know, and I'll
And it'll
have
be
one.
all right.
Oh, damn, that don't work.
That does not work,
I
man.
think it does.
And
shit.
that changed my life, man. And then what I did is thought, right, you know what? I'm getting out of the pub a bit more. I'm not going out all the time. I'm investing a bit more in myself. I was investing a lot more in my career. I got a good agent. Remember my first acting job. I got 6 lines in Emmerdale. I was like, "Fuck, I'm killing it!" Yes, and it just kind of, you know, grew and grew and grew from there. And then I was like, right, I don't want to like do the drinking thing anymore. I want to stay out of the pub. So I started running marathons, kind of selflessly but selfishly at the same time for the eye charity that's going to, you know, potentially one day find a cure for this. You can't cure retinitis pigmentosa at the moment. It's, you know, is incurable right now. But I thought, you know, if I'm gonna run marathons, I'll raise some money for this charity. Then I'd up my game and go, you know what, next year I'm gonna run 2 in a week. So I'm not just gonna do London. I'm gonna do London 1 week, Manchester the week after that. And then since then, I've just put that kind of strategic goal setting model that Mark taught me in the gym into every area of my life and my business until today.
That's massive.
And surprise, surprise. You know,
And do you say that was all like within a short period after losing your dad?
Yeah,
and
man.
Finding out how long before you started?
It changed my life. Losing my dad was only 60. It gave me the biggest jolt of self-awareness and mortality. To go, you know what? I was 24 at the time. If I've only got till 60, and I'm going to live to 100, right? I want like a telegram off Kate Middleton when I get to 100. I don't think she'll probably be quite as good looking as she is now, but neither will I. No, you know. But yeah, I would want to get to 100, but I was like, probably like 6 months. I was like, I think until that point, what I'd been doing is what a lot of people do. I'd been living the same year for many, many years. And a lot of people live the same year for 70 years, die and call it a life.
On repeat.
Yeah.
And that isn't a life, you know, at all. I was very much kind of stuck in I would say a comfort zone, but like just also a zone of almost kind of like helpless kind of like despair in terms of going, well, you know what, fuck it, maybe I just wasn't destined to have success in this industry. Life's difficult. I was looking a lot at life as it happening to me, not for me. Very, very different. My dad died. I was left with, I'd say the last thing he said, it was such a gift. He was like, listen, you look after your mum. And I thought I'd see him that night. I didn't think that would be it. Yeah, I was like, you know, I had no idea he was going to die. I got a phone call about 6 o'clock. And I said my mum scream, and I'm like, right, that's the phone call. And I kind of knew it, you know, before it even happened. It's a bit bizarre. But I thought, right, well, you know what, like, this isn't a dress rehearsal. We've got to, you know, actually go for what we want.
But what I find really interesting is so many people can see something like that happening and then just use it to fuel more negativity and go, well, my dad's died and life's shit.
Yeah,
and you know, we're all going to die. And what's interesting, actually, Dan, you lost your mum in the same year, didn't you?
Same year.
2006.
Yeah, honestly,
2006?
Yeah.
Suddenly,
I didn't realise it was the same
some of the
year.
things that you were saying, I was like, whoa.
Oh,
you know,
shit.
And all the things that you've said up to now, with it like striking a fire inside and giving you that drive to be a better version of yourself, because that's what my mum were always trying to instill into me. But I was just still a lost little boy when even up to even though I was an adult at the time.
How old were you when your mum?
I was 23.
Right, so I was 24. Yeah,
and I can totally relate, but also I held on to a lot of comforts, and then when my mum went there, we're like, right, you're gonna have to man up now.
Yeah.
Let's go.
But you've taken, again, in a similar way, you've taken that and made as much positive moves out of something so negative. And I just think that's really interesting, that it's all about perspective, isn't it?
Massively framing. This is really interesting, to do a lot of coaching on this. Framing your situation. It's like choosing between putting an optimistic pair of sunglasses on, or well, not just sunglasses, just glasses. Don't know why, because the sun's always out in my life, Matt. You see, or a pessimistic pair of glasses on. So what you can do is you can label an event. You could label your mum's death as a tragedy, and then what happens is you lose. Like when you lose her, that's a very, very difficult time losing a parent. You've already lost once. By labeling that a tragedy for the rest of your life, you're going to lose time and time and time and time again, and then you're going to die anyway. Having never really lived your life because of you labeling that thing as a tragedy. And I get people, I say, listen, right, if you look for the gifts in any tragedy, you will find them. So if you ask yourself the question, what good is there? If you're going through shit right now, anyone's going through shit, listen to this. If you ask yourself this question, what good is there in this situation that I cannot currently see? And if you look very hard for it, you will find it, okay? And you've got that choice. People can't choose the situations life puts them in, but you absolutely have the choice and the control over your choices of how you respond to that situation.
Yeah, every time.
And you can respond really negatively, or you can say, actually, you know what? I'm going to use this as fuel, and I'm going to look for the lessons that it's taught me, and I'm going to let it, I'm going to evolve through it. I'm going to let it make me a stronger person, a more rounded person. I'm going to be grateful. Gratitude is huge. I'm going to be grateful for this experience, because it's a human experience. Going through life without all those ups and downs would be very, very dull. I think it's impossible. Going through life and never having experienced heartbreak is probably impossible. Going through life in the order of life, if it happens correctly, and not losing a parent is impossible. We should, if life treats us kindly, outlive our parents. That's the order of life, the human condition. So if you look at all these situations and say, what were the odds of me getting through life and this never having happened?
Yeah.
Well, it was actually 0.
Yeah.
So okay, I'm going to be grateful for this experience because it was always going to happen. I now just have to respond, not react. It's very, very different. Reacting is getting on the horn when someone cuts you up and going, you fucking prick, what are you cutting me up for? Responding is thinking, actually, you know what, I'm going to project some positivity on this guy. He cut me up then. Maybe he's just had a phone call saying his dad's in hospital and he's got hours to live because I've had that phone call. That's why he wasn't keeping his eyes on the road. He cut me up. So I'm going to project that positivity on him. I'm not going to beat my horn. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And then also, I'm not putting myself through any physical turmoil by getting irate and angry, because it's not going to affect the outcome anyway.
You start to position yourself in a place where you can't really lose.
You become invincible.
Yeah.
Because you're in control of everything. You're not in control of what happens to you, but you're completely in control of how you deal with it. And it's kind of interesting, when we met up the other week, something that I found really interesting that you spoke about was the opposite of that is people can get addicted to depression.
Yeah, man.
And you said it's because a lot of the human needs are met. Do you want to just talk about that? Because I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah. So this is how you can explain every human behaviour on the planet, from the most incredible acts of kindness to the most heinous crimes, okay? And basically, it's all based around 4 massively important human needs and drives of ours, and they are certainty, okay? So that's the need to feel certain when you go into a situation that the likelihood of good happening to you is greater than bad. Okay, so you get a lot of people, for instance, who have a breakup and then they say, right, they'll never get into another relationship again unless they are certain that person's the one, right? That's, probably not a great tactic to use around relationships, but certainty, I'm only going to take that job if I'm certain it's going to be the best. Ultimately, we just need to feel that we're going into something that's going to, add to our lives as opposed to, take away from it. Equally though, we need variety in our lives, so we need uncertainty, okay, but good uncertainty. You need to see different places, you need to meet different people, have different experiences. We also need significance. It's a massive driver in our life, the need to feel worthy, to feel special in some kind of way.
The ego in us all, isn't it?
Ego, yeah, absolutely. And then we need love and connection as well, and that can be love from other people around us, connection with just other human beings when you go out, intimate connections with with a partner, and love from your family and your friends, and that kind of thing. And they're massively important. If I asked you to order those in an order of what was most important to least important, you'd probably sit there for 10 minutes going, oh fuck, it's significant. I need significance. Oh, but I really need certainty is like a big one for me. When you're younger, like when people first leave home, like when they're early 20s and stuff, and they go away to uni and that kind of thing, significance is the biggest driver. They want to make their mark on the world. They want to be like, I don't need my parents anymore. I'm independent. And they tend to get the other three needs of certainty, variety, and love and connection through significance.
Sure.
It's not the highest quality way to do it, but it is the one that we go through when we're younger. As you enter a different life cycle, you'll find if you put love and connection first, and you get your significance through love and connection, it's a far higher quality. Anyway, you can fulfill these 4 human needs in a positive way, which is quite hard, right? It's going to take effort, work, commitment, or you can fulfill it in a really negative way, which requires very little effort. You boys come into the apartment today, right? If I'm sat on this settee crying, I know, right, all my human needs are going to be fulfilled, okay? So I'm certain you're going to ask me, what's up, right? So I'm going to be like, oh, actually, okay, right, well, I get love and connection from you guys because they must care about me, right? So I'm certain I'm going to get a reaction.
Boom,
two,
you got 'em,
right?
Yeah.
Then I go, okay, well, you know what? Because they care about me and they're asking about me, then I feel kind of quite special and a bit significant, okay? Because if they didn't care about me, they wouldn't ask me. 3, and then variety, because you're gonna give me affection in a different way to you, and I know if someone else, Ash behind the camera, is gonna, I'm gonna get this love, connection, and significance, and all these emotions, these drivers, in a different way from each of you. So all 4 of my human needs are instantly fulfilled by by being depressed ultimately. And this is what happens to people in life. They go, you know what, I'm in a really shit place right now and nothing's kind of going right for me. But if I put a Facebook post out that just says, fuck my life.
Or, I'm just about to say that.
Yeah.
You just,
Or,
just about
oh
to say
my
that.
God, ...
Yeah.
Then I'm going to get all 4 of my human
What's
needs
up?
fulfilled. What's up, babe? I hate it. I hate it.
It's the babe,
God.
that does it.
I absolutely hate it. I'll inbox you, babe. What?
What's up, hon?
Yeah, what's up, hon? And it's just like, you know what? If you're going through some shit, fucking just tell us what it is.
Yeah.
And then maybe I'll be able to step in and help you, But it's just, it's that very, very...
it's the
It's the
easiest
inner
way,
child.
isn't it?
Yeah,
It's the inner child, isn't it?
and it is
Crying out.
and it is the easiest way to fulfill certainty, variety, significance, love and connection by putting negativity out into the world. It's much harder to go, you know what, I'm going to get my significance through really impacting someone's life positively today. It doesn't have to be a big thing. That can be literally, smiling at the barista who makes you a coffee and complimenting on her hair that day. And she's like, oh my God, that's so nice. You've made her day. You feel good about yourself. You get your significance that way. You get your certainty through working hard at your job, so you're going to have a good month. You're going to get paid. You get your variety by spending that money that you've earned in that job through working hard on going to a different restaurant that week, or date night, taking your other half out to somewhere you've never been before. You get your variety that way. You'll never get 2 people in a relationship who say, oh, you know what, my girlfriend, I'm so certain actually, that like we're so solid, I'm certain, that this is like absolutely for me, this relationship. But equally, she's always surprising me with little things. We're always going to different restaurants, or I get home and she'll have like cooked me a different meal or something like that. But she makes me feel so significant. I get so much kind of significance from her. She's always like supportive around my work and things, and telling me to go out there and helping me, create the best version of me. And I've got such a deep connection with her. I just love her so much. So we're probably going to split up. You never hear that because when you fulfill your partner's needs like that, you own their soul. And then when you have all those 4 needs fulfilled, you can hit level 5 and 6, which is growth, and so you would grow as a person. Either physically, if you're in the gym, you're working out, or as a person spiritually, emotionally, and then you can hit contribution, where you can then start giving back to the world. And that's the people who hit contribution live the happiest lives, where they feel they're giving back.
Something else we spoke about on that is about like relationships, and how people don't feel the need to work at their relationship with their other half.
Yeah.
And the thing that I found really fascinating was we spoke about the impact of what a fairy tale can have on you as a child. And we have this image of the glass slipper fitting perfectly, and then they live happily ever after. But why do people take that into adulthood and not kind of question, why shouldn't we work at the relationship every day? Why should it just be happily ever after? And I thought that was interesting, because if you want a better body, you don't just work out one day and then live happily ever after with an amazing body.
No.
You've got to work at that every day.
People have destination happiness issues, like my life's going to be better
when I have X.
My life
And then
will
they
be
get
better.
there.
And it's like, oh shit, I don't feel any better.
It's called chasing the horizon. Yeah.
But I love that idea that it's about taking control again. If you can look at your relationship and know that it is something you've got to keep working at, and you can't just expect it all to live happily ever after. Actually, you've got a little bit more kind of empowerment, because you're not just leaving it to let's hope it all works out. And people do, don't they? They just get stale. They're just doing the same thing year after year after year.
So it's all based on so your belief system in everything in your life. There's that old phrase, show me the boy at 7 and I'll show you the man. Ultimately, your belief system is entirely created from previous experiences of yours, good and bad, mostly when you're a child. Okay, so if you were fortunate enough to have had great experiences as a kid, you'll have more of a kind of growth mindset growing up. But if you have bad experiences as a kid, you have a bit of a fixed mindset. This is how life is. I wasn't, born to have this, that, and the other. I had a dodgy childhood, all this kind of stuff. Experiences you have as a kid really shape you as an adult, and there are these fairy tales that we're told, and it's really interesting when you look at a fairy tale. They originated in Europe, and they were always set in a land far, far away, because the actual stories you were telling could never happen in the real world. So there was about, the princess hooking up with a woodcutter. Could never happen in the real world. So it's like in a land far, far away. And they were fabulous, these stories. They enable people to really escape and, tell these incredible stories and fantasize. And then they spread more, I can't remember where it was, Italy was it? And then they came to the UK. But they were always, these incredible stories that were so fantastical they could never actually happen in the real world. And you have things like Cinderella, where the glass slipper just fits. Prince Charming comes in, and it's bred, I feel, generations of people who feel that relationships should it should just feel right. It should just I shouldn't have to work. No, it should just, if it was supposed to be destiny doesn't let what's meant for you pass you by. It fucking does. If you don't realise that you choose your own destiny. It's not like, just some magic thing that kind of happens. I totally believe in, because it's happened in my own life, I feel you can have two people who are right for each other who meet at the wrong time. I feel that can absolutely happen in the real world. But relationships in general, they're the most complex thing in your life, your intimate relationship, by far. Way more complicated than your job, than your business. Every part of your life affects every part of your life. When your relationship is good, your life is good. They did a study on this. They went into some top FTSE 200 companies that had massive record profits one year, and then were failing through no obvious reason. And they looked at products. Well, the products are getting better. We're innovating. We're bringing better stuff out. Management hasn't changed. All this stuff, the external kind of stuff that you were thinking of business that was required, for them to profit. And it always came down to it, if that business was suddenly on a slump, that actually, why don't we look at the CEO's personal life? The CEO, he's going through a divorce. That's why the company's failing. Because every part of your life affects every part of your life. Of course it affects your performance at work. I was going through a horrific breakup in 2014. I had one of the best jobs I'd had in my life in voiceover until that point. I hated being in the studio. Couldn't focus on it. It just was not there. And people think that it should just feel right. If I want to get better at business and I want my website to get better, or I want to learn marketing, I want to learn about Facebook ads, I take a Facebook ads training course. I work at it. If I want to get better in the gym and I want to lift more, I get a personal trainer. I eat better. I work at it daily, not just once, here and there. And relationships, can be absolutely, they have to be no different than that. If you want it to work, you have to work at it every single day. And I'd be at the point, where I feel genuinely that, you know, I could sit down with a partner and say, you know, it might sound clinical to some people, but, you know, I would sit there and I would go through those human needs and say, is there anything I could do for you in your life that's going to make you feel more significant? You know, where are we at? How certain are you in this relationship? Is there enough variety? Are we bringing enough variety to this? Am I making you feel significant? Do you feel we've got that connection? You know, is there anything? Communication, isn't it? Communication is critical.
Yeah.
And so few people want to do it. They want to ignore all their problems till it's too late. They end up resenting each other. You know, what's up with you? Nothing. Well, you know, of course there is. You know, there's, you know, and they, they don't want to sit and actually talk about, you know, things that what they want to do is they want to put off the burn that awkward conversation will have for 5 minutes.
Don't you
if
think
it is awkward?
that comes down to emotional intelligence?
I think it's a huge part of it.
Like,
vulnerability as well. People don't want to show any vulnerability.
But actually having the skills to be able to put it across without attacking somebody.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it still takes a bit of a skill and a bit of patience, and you've got to take yourself away to have a think about how you're going to say whatever you need to say to get it out the best way that you can without it causing
well, the more you've
explosion.
communicated in the past, if you communicated from day one, the more you'll be aware of each other's triggers as well. To go, you know what, when I put this across in that way, that's a trigger for you, and that, you know, that's not, I'm not going to put it across in that way. I think the big problems arise when you go into a relationship having not put your cards on the table and really spoken about what you're like and what you need from a relationship. This is the thing as well that I've learned, and I learned this through getting a relationship wrong, and I only spoke to this person about it afterwards. So I'll be vulnerable and open up. She won't mind me talking about this. I won't mention any names as such, but this person had been in. She had quite a public profile, and when we were out and about, she wouldn't like people taking photographs of her. So for me, that instantly was like, that's a trigger for her. So when I'm out in public with her, I won't be overly affectionate or, you know, be all kissy. You know, you see people walking around, couples walking around with like hands on each other's bums and stuff like that. I was like, I'm not going to do that.
Me and Matt do that.
I bet you two, yeah, you do that all the time. Because like, I'm not going to do that because what's it going to do? It's going to draw attention to us in a public place. I've seen how she reacts to people taking photographs of her. If someone asks for a photograph, it will be fine. But if we were sat having a meal and someone snidely would be snapping a picture, she wasn't like that at all. You know, couldn't relax, and I get that completely. You know, if you're out having a meal, you want a bit of privacy and stuff. But you know, it's the price you pay as well, ultimately, for, you know, for being in the public eye and all the trappings that come through that. So it's a bit of a trade-off. But I thought, I'm not going to do that. Now I didn't know, but on a few occasions that was taken as like, oh well, you know, he doesn't love me as much as he says he does then, or, you know, he's not as into me as he says he is, etc., because she's not being given this tactile love when we're out. And we only spoke about this kind of like afterwards, after we'd broken up. We're together, you know, it was ultimately a great relationship. We're still very good friends today. But I was like, it's really interesting because it highlighted for me that two people can show their love in a very, very different way. What I would do as well, and you know, and I would have that tactile nature about me behind closed doors, that was fine. But I would also, in a way, I realised that I show my love a lot through doing things for people, and really being the fixer, the problem solver. I love fixing people's issues, you know, or doing things for people, really, you know, helping people, again, become, you know, like the best version of themselves. So I would offer, you know, for someone that I love, if I get a phone call through going, I really need this doing, I would happily put all my stuff to one side and go, I'm going to crack on with that and sort that out for you. That's how I show my love. How this girl showed her love was tactile, was all hugs, kisses, that kind of stuff. So it's two people showing the same emotion, love, through different means. Doesn't mean that one's right and one's wrong. And had we sat down in our relationship at the beginning and said, how do you, like, you know, just as I'm getting to know you, how do you show you love somebody? You know, what is it for you? Oh, well, I really like it, you know, when I get hugs and kisses and it's all tactile. We're going, okay, I know that's how you show your love. Well, how do you show your love? Well, I do things for people, you know. I don't do things just for anybody. I do things for people that I love. And we would have understood how we express love way earlier on in that relationship. And it might have saved it, you know. I don't know. You know, we'll never know that. But it was just interesting.
And I feel, don't you think a lot of that is down to fear? Because if you feel like you're going to be that upfront and open with somebody, and like you say, it can be taken clinical. So people would rather just bottle things up and not talk about it and
Yeah.
avoid exactly that. Yeah. And listening to you talk there, it just feels like, again, coming back to everything else in your life. If you don't tackle it head on and you don't try and address it and work at it, how can you expect it to work out? You're not mind readers.
No, exactly. And you just got to feel, as I say, a lot of people will be in a relationship right now, and there's a sticking point there that keeps coming up time and time again. And like I said before, they are avoiding that 5-minute burn of a chat. You know, that all it is that 5 minutes of going, okay, this is going to be a bit of a burn and a little bit awkward. They're avoiding that 5 minutes, but actually they're going to spend the next 2 years of their life unhappy over 5 minutes that they just need to have it out. Just have a little chat. It doesn't have to be, you know, attacking like you said before. It's just about communicating, and maybe it comes with time and age and, you know, a bit more self-awareness. Getting it wrong and go, you know what, if I was to do that again, let's not label this as a tragedy. Let me look at the gifts that were in this relationship breakdown. If I label it as a gift, what within it do I then see that I couldn't see at the time? What good is there again that I was not seeing, you know, when it was all going wrong? And it's fucking heartbreaking. Like, it's awful. There were days in that breakup, man, where, like, honestly, it was a struggle to get out of bed. Like, it was awful. But again, you look back and I go, God, I've grown so much as a person. I'm so much clearer about what I need from relationships, what I can give, where I am at fault. I take full accountability as well for all of the, you know, the role that I played in that breaking down. A lot of people don't want to do that, and they don't want to blame consciously as well. This is really interesting. They want to blame that person. So this person, you know, when I was with this person, like I said, you know, they own pretty much my soul when I was with this person. I can't then just go, because that's gone wrong, I fucking hate you, you bitch. If I'm going to blame
so many people
all,
do that though,
I know,
don't they?
if you're going to blame people for the bad, do yourself a favour and blame them for the good as well. Because it makes a massive difference in how you own that situation. And when you go, I hold my hands up and I take full accountability for every part I played in this, and I'm going to thank you for some of the best days of my life, you know, some of the best times, because, you know, I'm sure we've all been in relationships when they've not ended well, but within those, you've probably had some of the best moments you've ever had in your life, without a doubt. And I've got to say thank you so much for those. I'm not going to forget about those and call you, you know, a bitch because it's all gone wrong. You know, because I'm still so grateful I had those experiences. So blaming consciously wins you back a lot of power and control as well. And taking accountability and responsibility for your life is just a massive one I don't think people do. They just want to play the victim all the time and say, oh, that happened to me, not for me again.
I'll tell you what I pick up on a lot when I'm working with people. They talk negatively about themselves. So they don't have self-love.
Yep.
And you can't love other people properly if you don't love yourself. Without being vain, without looking at you. It's not about looking at yourself in the mirror and this and that. It's about, you know, you accepting yourself and being happy with yourself and treating yourself like your own best friend. You know what I mean? Like,
huge.
Like, and you give yourself those little praises, like, yeah, you did good today.
Yeah.
Not, that was shit. And then putting it out there, saying to other people, I'm lazy, I'm this, I'm that, and saying these things, and it's like, ooh, careful.
Self-talk is a huge thing people get wrong. In terms of, it's more important, the things that you say to yourself in your head are more important a lot of the time than the things that come out of your mouth that you say to other people. When you say something to yourself, you're the first person to hear it. I say to people all the time, like, your subconscious is always listening. So even if you're on your own, and I'm in it, you know, I have no peripheral vision with my, if I look this way, I have no idea you're both there. I can't see Ash over here.
We've gone.
I see like a corner of my TV over here.
Wow. Yeah.
So I'll kick things a lot of the time. And I would find myself in my early 20s before I really kind of started studying positive psychology. I'd kick something and go, you fucking idiot. I'd be like, and now I'm like, oh my God, you just like, I was blaming myself for an eye condition that I have no control over at all.
Yeah.
And that's really negative self-talk. Vocabulary is a massive one as well that can absolutely make or break your day. You know, you meet somebody and this is an interesting lesson, right? So say, for instance, I've got a lot of plates spinning. I know you boys have got a lot of plates spinning. So I have my acting career, my voiceover career, Bulletproof Actor, act on this, do a lot of live broadcasting, podcasting. I've got a life to live as well. All these things, you know, spinning these plates. Sometimes it can feel overwhelming, yeah? And we feel overwhelmed as human beings when we feel we've got all these tasks to do and we've got to do them all now, right? And it can often feel like that. Oh my God, I've got all these deadlines. I've got this happening, my tax has got to be in. I've got this self-tape to do for this audition. You'll have gigs and that sort of stuff. You'll have clients to coach. It can feel overwhelming. And when you meet somebody and they go, oh, Matt, how are you doing? For most people, the vocabulary that comes out of their mouth is like, all right, not bad. Oh, that's terrible, isn't it? Not bad. But a lot of the time they'll be like, oh, fucking hell, I'm so overwhelmed at the minute. I don't, I've had no sleep, I've got no time, I've got no money, all this kind of stuff. If you look at, again, framing the situation, rather than saying you're overwhelmed, what would happen if you changed that wording and you said, actually, you know what? I am blessed with opportunity right now. I've got so many things going on. I'm just figuring out which opportunity I want to take and which ones I'm going to throw away. It would absolutely like change your entire day about how you're feeling about your situation, as opposed to I am so overwhelmed right now and I don't have a fucking clue what to do. Yeah. Vocabulary is massive. Rather than I'm suffering with a cold right now. How about I'm good. I'm beating a cold.
Yeah.
It's just that little. It might make you feel 5-10% better, but it might just be enough, to make you show up better in the world. Like I said, every part of your life affects every part of your life. You show up in the world in a positive way. Other people respond to you in a better way. You end up making somebody else's day a little bit better, like that barista, I was talking about before. You smile at the barista, she then goes home to her husband, she doesn't snap at him because she's in a better mood. Her husband's like, oh my God, like my girlfriend's like in a good mood. That makes their date night better. It just absolutely ripples on, and it can all start by what comes out of your mouth, but particularly what you're saying to yourself. Be really careful what you're saying to yourself.
I love that. It's so powerful. Now I want to do a bit of a quick fire thing.
With
debunking some myths, and what I mean by that is, I know we were speaking. This is where we get a bit controversial about a few kind of, should we say, like positive phrases that you totally disagree with.
Do you know what? I'm all for Insta-spiration or whatever they call it. Basically what a lot of people will do is they'll wake up in the morning, they'll feel like shit, and they'll scroll down Instagram for 10 minutes, double tapping on some inspirational quotes. It'll last 10 minutes. They'll get up, they'll be like, yeah.
But then they share it too. Like it's come from them, and then they talk shit.
I see this a lot. I see, and we've got to remember, social media is your front stage. We're not showing our backstage on social media. Yeah. Please don't compare yourself to what you see on social media. It's bullshit. It's very, very false and front stages. Absolutely, Yeah. It's loosely based on real life. But yeah, you get a lot of people, sharing these quotes, and then I'll get a DM 30 minutes afterwards. I'm like, oh my God, like, they're killing it at the moment. I get a DM 30 minutes later going, I'm really depressed, I'm struggling, I don't want to get out of bed. I'm like, right, you've just posted like some quote on Instagram that you're living your best life. Like, that's this kind of society we're living in right now. So let's debunk some of these and what you're talking about.
Fake it till you make it.
Why? It's the worst piece of advice I've ever heard in my life. Do you know why? Do you know what? There's a difference between faking it till you make it and what I would class as optimism, right?
Yeah.
Optimism and visualization. Visualization is a positive psychology scientific principle. Athletes use it. They visualize themselves breaking world records, crossing that line before they've crossed it. Ultimately, it's like a rehearsal mentally in your head to help you go through with that thing. This is different. Visualization is very, very powerful. Being optimistic, believing in your potential is very, very powerful, but faking it till you make it is absolute nonsense. Putting entrepreneur in your Instagram profile and then just be like, oh yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, what have you done? Well, I've printed 3 t-shirts. Good one. How's your business doing?
Good t-shirts.
Putting actor in your profile to make yourself feel good.
Yeah.
And then, like what you're doing today to move forward in your acting career, nothing. Well, you're not really fucking acting.
I was in a school play though.
But you know what? I'd applaud them for that though. I go, yeah, you know what? Good. Most people aren't even doing that. Most people aren't doing that. You've got to start somewhere, man. I started as a shepherd with a tea towel on my head. It's. I would applaud people for just making any steps towards the thing that they want, but they get the significance we were talking about before by putting the title in their Twitter profile, in their Instagram profile, and it's the same as your clients who will buy gym kit and never go to the fucking gym. They get the significance through buying the stuff, saying what they're going to do. This is why it's quite dangerous sometimes to tell people your goals, because we get, if you're like, this year I'm going to do this and I'm going to smash it, you're so fired up that actually it's almost like you've done it.
You've used all the energy.
Well, yeah, you've kind of like you've satisfied that need of significance in your head because you've told people what you're going to do, and then people respond positively. Oh my God, Matt, you're going to kill it this year.
Seeking approval as well.
Yeah,
like seeking the. You want to be like, so it's like, I've got this idea and I must tell everybody about it. And it's going to make
you feel that high.
You get the high before you've achieved the thing.
Yeah.
So fake it till you make it. Yeah. you know what? The reason I know this is bullshit is because I did it, right? When I started Acts on This Up, this is back in 2011, I went for the first 6 months, and I thought, in order for anyone to trust me in the acting industry, because there's a lot of snake oil sold to actors because they're desperate, they're taken advantage of a lot of the time, and you know they're often easy to take money from if like you're an evil person and you just want to profit from actors and promise them fame and fortune. It's
a hard industry, so they're vulnerable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was like, okay, right, to make sure people trust me, I'm gonna have to come across as a big business, right? Because then they'll think it's legit.
Yeah.
So I would send my emails out when I was building my email list slowly from the team. At Acts on This, we're doing this, and we've got this team, and we're doing this. It was bullshit. It was me in my mum's spare bedroom, right?
Okay.
6 months down the line, I'm like, nothing's popping, getting no traction. I was having people sign up to my email list. I was sending them an email saying, I'm going to do this interview with this really prestigious casting director. And then they were sending me an email back that said, stop sending me this shit. I'm like, you jumped on my email list, mate. Like, what's going on? But they had no respect because they thought it was a big organisation.
Right, yeah.
I sent one email out, I almost folded. I went, you know what, 7 months in, I'm sacking this off. This is a thankless task and it's not working. And I sent an email out and the subject was, what have I done wrong? And I said, guys, listen, I'm going to come clean with you. I just wanted to ask you, like, no one's really been engaging with my stuff. Nobody's, you know, really been signing up for a membership for the site. I'm at the point where I'm going to close it down, to be honest. But before I do, I just wanted to ask you, like, what have I done wrong? You know, I said, because to be honest with you, I've kind of maybe masqueraded as this company, but really it's just me in my mum's spare bedroom. I'm an actor just like you. I'm hustling just like you. You know, I'm on this journey just like you, and I'd love to create a supportive community, you know, but it looks like it's just not working. I think I only had about 250 people on my email list. So at that point, when I sent an email like broadcast out, I wouldn't get a reply, or I got the odd negative one like, fuck off, get me off your email list. That one got 75 replies to it, and they were all like, oh my God, Ross, I had no idea. If you'd have just said from the beginning, you were an actor just like us, setting something up new for the good of the community, a positive force that's going to help everybody, of course we'd have got on board with it. The fact is, you masqueraded, you faked it, that you were this fucking huge company, and thus I was never going to make it while I was faking it. I was like, this is just nonsense. And I just feel that vulnerability is one of the most powerful attributes we have as human beings, yet so few people want to tap into it.
And authenticity as well.
Authenticity, absolutely. Credibility, authenticity, and just, you know the videos that you see online that you really connect with? They're the ones that are like...
It's the underdog story,
so
isn't it,
real. And yeah, you know, they're not... How many of these bullshit entrepreneurs are there on Instagram and Facebook ads and stuff? And what they do is they throw a shitload of money down on a table that they've just taken a loan out from the bank to get. They take a photograph of it and go, oh, we're balling. Why don't you just, all you need to do is live the laptop lifestyle. Look at me, I'm in this villa that they fucking rented for the day with their mum's savings. And then they go and pay all that money that they just thrown on the table back into the bank because it wasn't theirs. And they con people to buy their millionaire blueprint for just $197. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, it's just bullshit. I look at that and I'm like, you are not authentic, and you will lose. The people that I see winning, and in my own case, in terms of why I think what I'm doing is succeeding to a certain extent, is because I'm just now not afraid to go, guys, I'm a one-man band, I'm just like you, and I'm totally upfront. I was in a Sky comedy before Christmas called Brassic, and I got a call from my agent going, mate, your scenes have been cut. I jumped on a Facebook Live to go, guys, I'm just going to put this out there, just let you know. It wasn't just because of that. I was doing a Facebook Live for some other stuff. But I was like, listen, just got a phone call from my agent to say that these scenes have been cut. And the moral of the story was kind of, don't count your chickens, as in like until you've seen it on the TV, even if you filmed it and you've been paid for it, it might not air, And it's just look, this stuff happens. If you ever have anything cut, don't worry about it. So have I.
Well, people can learn from that and the way you deal with it, rather than you just pretending going on Facebook.
Yeah.
Everything's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. Just wrapped on this new Sky, like just been cut from this new Sky comedy that was with Michelle Keegan and Joe Gilgan. I would have loved to have actually aired.
Can you not get those teams? You
no,
need that in your showreel.
No, it's fine, man. It's fine. But I mean, you just look for for your next opportunity. But I just feel that when you're authentic and you're real and you show people your losses as well as your gains, people are like, oh, okay, I can relate to this guy because I've just had an L today as well.
They're on board.
Yeah. And that's why I just think it's a terrible, terrible, terrible advice. Don't, get it mixed up with optimism, like I said before, and visualization, very, very different things, but faking it, worst advice you could be given.
Yeah. One more quote, and it's one that I hear all the time on all these positive podcasts and things like that. Live every day like it's your last. That's another one you hear, yeah?
If I was living today like it was my last, I would not be sat with you boys here in the flat.
No offence, right?
No offence. Well, I mean, to be honest, you know what? If it was absolutely my last and it was my last day, I would probably be like, I actually don't know what I'd be doing. I'd be crying somewhere, going, oh my God, like I'm going to die in a few hours, what the hell am I going to do? People envisage this live your day as if every day as if it's your last, as in like, I'll be out living my full life, partying, well, I mean, that would be terrible, wouldn't it? Like partying, like if you lived every day partying, what the fuck are you going to actually achieve? Yeah. It's terrible advice. I feel that you should live today optimistically, like you are going to wake up tomorrow and the next day and the next day, because then you can actually put a plan into action of how you're going to achieve the things that you want to achieve, grow the things you want to grow, yourself, your family, your business, your relationships, actually lead a fulfilled, happy life. If you lived every day like it was your last day, what would you be on, like a beach in Marbella, would you, or something like that? Well, you wouldn't even do that on your last day though. If I actually said this is your last day,
I'd be like, shit.
You'd just ring round your nearest and dearest and go snuggle up somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. You would curl up in a ball on the floor crying. Yeah. I don't want to die. Yeah. I've got so much living to do. Yeah. Terrible advice. Live every day like you're going to wake up tomorrow, but don't forget that every single day, 151,000 people who woke up yesterday didn't wake up this morning. Yeah. So every day you wake up, be fucking grateful that you've woken up. Don't wake up complaining. I can learn a lot about you sitting, having a coffee with you for 30 minutes based on how much complaining you do in that 30 minutes. And I meet some people, I'm like, okay, like right now you're just deploying a lot of losing DNA. Maybe you've got some winning DNA within you. Or I'll sit with someone, I'm like, you know what, I sat for 30 minutes and all you've done is you've just like practiced gratitude and told me how. I met a girl for coffee last week, an actress, and I can just describe her as the sun shone out of her face. There was no darkness behind the eyes, no complaining, no depression, no insecurity. It was just like, let's focus on actually making things happen this year. And it was just a lovely, amazing conversation, as opposed to someone who sits there complaining, because misery generally likes misery, and actors want to fucking complain a lot of the time. And I'm like, listen, Jim Rohn, a thought leader, said, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you hang out with 5 broke, whinging, whining actors or just negative people, you will become the 6th. So again, you've got to be really careful of who you're spending the most time with. If you think, who are my 5? Yeah. And you're like, actually, well, they're a battery drainer, they're a battery drainer, they're a battery drainer. Fuck, you know what? There's like, this is why, my energy's low right now, why I've got no motivation, because I'm giving it all to these people who just want to sit there and complain and fulfill their human needs in a really negative way. They get addicted to that depression.
Yeah. Ross, I feel like I could talk to you all night. I hope if you're listening, you've got so much value out of this. I know that we definitely have.
Isn't that it?
There's so much.
Just the energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I felt that.
Ross, thank you so much. Where can people hit you up on social media? Where's the best place if they want to keep up to date?
Best places I hang out are Twitter, at Ross A. Grant. Act on This is the Twitter. I've got Twitter for Act on This as well. It's at Act on This TV, and the same on Instagram, at Ross A. Grant, at Act on This TV. If anyone is an actor on the list and I can do anything for you, reach out anytime. If anyone just wants to,
and you are genuine about that. I know.
I'm always genuine about that. Yeah. That's not lip service, because I just think, again, like the people who have really helped me in life. I feel, are people who you would see, you would look on the surface and go, God, you know what, they must be so busy. People like massive people on the internet I've never even met in real life who have been huge inspirations in my life. People that I know you follow a lot of Lewis Howe's stuff. I spoke to Lewis a lot on email. You'd be like, you know what, that guy's got like so much on his plate, and I'll drop him an email at 3 o'clock in the morning. The guy will reply to me personally. Gary V, I've had email conversation with him, met him in London. And you're like, the amount of like DMs and emails that those guys must get. Yeah. If I can't, with the 4,000 or whatever, Act on This has got about 16,000 followers. These guys have got like millions. If I can't reply to someone, when I'm getting like 10 emails a week, and these boys who are getting hundreds can reply, then I just don't think it's good form. And I think that's a lesson a lot of people can learn for social media as well, is that if you're telling me you want to grow a following of 100,000 people, and if I look on your Instagram right now and you've only got 300 people following you, and I look at a post where 3 people have taken the time out to actually comment on it, and you haven't fucking given them the time of day to say thank you, like, who the fuck do you think you are?
Sure.
How are you going to get to 100,000 if you can't even be grateful for the 300 you have now?
Yeah.
Never forget that. Like, people spend any time communicating with you, sending you an email, asking you for help, giving you praise, whatever. The least you can do, man, is pay it back. So anybody needs anything, acting wise, Ross at actonthis.tv. Might take me a week to get back to you, but I will get back to every single person who ever emails me. And it comes personally to me, that.
Before we go as well, we always ask the question every time, which you might have to think about this.
Oh, I love this, on the spot.
What is your definition of rich in success?
Rich in success? Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, God. That's a massive question, isn't it?
Try keep it quite tight.
Keep it tight.
What are we talking about?
Oh my goodness me. It's... I mean, do you know what? At its most basic, which is like the most basic answer you can give, it definitely isn't. When you hear the word rich, you obviously think of monetary things and material things and all that sort of stuff. I think it's realising, it sounds so cliche this, but it is realising that everything you need to be, if you can realise this, I think you're rich. If you realise that everything you need is within you now, you just need the courage to see it through. I think, and if you get that and you go, actually, you know what, it's not that thing that's going to make me happy, that thing that's going to make me happy, or I need this money to start this, or that person to start this. If you realise that everything you need to achieve everything you could possibly want in this life, you already have inside of you. You just need the courage to bring it out. I think you'll be richer than your wildest dreams.
Boom. Ross Grant, thank you so much.
Boom.
Yeah.
Bosh.
Boom.
Appreciate it.
Amazing.
Thanks for coming round.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to today's Rich in Success episode. If this episode has impacted you, there's a few things we need you to do to help support the show right now. Please spread the word. Tell a friend that you think needs to hear our message and subscribe to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher or Google Play. And please give the show a 5-star review. Don't forget to also like our social media pages and tag us on your Instagram stories. Your support means the world. Thanks again, and let's keep growing together.